Namaste, everyone. Welcome to the Charvak podcast. This is Kushal Mehra. I have a little bit of a sore throat, so as you see, I'm chewing on something to clear my throat. Um, I got a fever, a bit of a fever or a cold, and then Justin Trudeau decided that he had to make sure my my life has to be miserable. That I have to come out and speak even when I don't want to come out and speak. And I was like, "Keede pade tujhe, Justinder," and it is what it is. I'm very sorry, but really, my throat is paining. That's why I am chewing this as I'm speaking with you. But please bear with me, and let me give you a background as to what and why I have decided to speak. So, yesterday I was out having a nice dinner, and suddenly I keep getting messages after messages after messages, and then I see this speech on the House of Commons by the current Prime Minister of Canada, that is Justin Trudeau, and he accused India of interfering in matters on Canadian soil, and he indirectly accused India of attempt of the assassination or the murder of a Khalistani. The best part is he kept on calling him Canadian, which was very interesting because we'll get into the facts of the case as the monologue goes on. And he said that, you know, India, we have credible evidence, his words, not mine. We have credible evidence that India has a role to play in this. And then this statement was made by the foreign minister. I want to play the foreign minister statement because that is way more important than what this clown prince of Canada has said on the House of Commons. And here I'm sharing the statement made by the foreign minister of Canada, Melanie Joly. Here it is. Please listen to this.
First and foremost, I would like to extend my condolences to the family and loved ones of Hardeep Singh Nijjar. The allegations that a representative of a foreign government may have been involved in the killing of a Canadian citizen here in Canada.
Pause here. Listen to what she says. May have been involved. Let's play this again. Okay? Play this again.
Representative of a foreign government may have been involved in the killing of a Canadian citizen here in Canada on Canadian soil is not only troubling, but it is completely unacceptable. If proven true, this would be a grave violation of our sovereignty and of the most basic rule of how countries deal with each other.
Look at the words used over here again. I'm going to play it again. She says, if proven true.
This would be a grave violation of our sovereignty and of the most basic rule of how countries deal with each other. We've been clear we will not tolerate any form of foreign interference. Since this was brought to our attention, we've been guided by three principles. The first one, we will seek the truth. The second one, we will protect Canadians at all times. And thirdly, we will protect Canada's sovereignty. I've conveyed these principles to my Indian counterpart, and I've also told him that we expect India's full collaboration to make sure that we get to the bottom of this. And as of today, and as a consequence, we've expelled a top Indian diplomat from Canada.
All right. So now I've shared her statement verbatim. This is what she said literally. And she used all your weasel words, may have been involved, subject to this, subject to that the standard nonsense that we have. And the MEA response was there immediately after that. MEA being the Ministry of External Affairs India, and the Ministry of External Affairs India obviously was categorical in its response. If there ever was a dhobi pachhad response, I have to say this was this was one where I was waiting for how the Indian government was going to respond to this ludicrous on to be very honest, this ludicrous charge alleged by the Canadian government, and that too by from the Prime Minister. Just imagine that um, you are right now coming back from a G20 summit that has been a disaster, which is the case of Mr. Justin Trudeau. And what is the first thing that you do when you come back? The first thing you do when you come back is you say this. But now let us get into the two responses from the Indian side. And they are, I'm going to read them verbatim too from the ministry directly. So these are the responses. India rejects allegations by Canada. We have seen and reject the statement of the Canadian Prime Minister in their parliament, as also the statement by their foreign minister. Allegations of Government of India's involvement in any kind of violence in Canada are absurd and motivated. Similar allegations were made by the Canadian Prime Minister to our Prime Minister, and we were completely rejected. And were completely rejected. We are a democratic polity with a strong commitment to rule of law. Such unsubstantiated allegations seek to shift the focus from Khalistani terrorists and extremists who have been provided shelter in Canada and continue to threaten India's sovereignty and territorial integrity. The inaction of the Canadian government on this matter has been a long standing and continuing concern. That Canadian political figures have openly expressed sympathy for such elements remains a matter of deep concern. The space given in Canada to a range of illegal activities, including murders, human trafficking, and organized crime, is not new. We reject any attempts to connect Government of India to such developments. We urge the Government of Canada to take prompt and effective legal action against anti-India elements operating from their soil. This was the first reaction, and then there was reaction number two. Uh, Now, remember the Canadian Foreign Minister, what she said? And this is the response of the Ministry of External Affairs. India expels a senior Canadian diplomat. The High Commissioner of Canada to India was summoned today and informed about the decision of the Government of India to expel a senior Canadian diplomat based in India. The concerned diplomat has been asked to leave India within the next 5 days. The decision reflects Government of India's growing concern at the interference of Canadian diplomats in our internal matters and their involvement in anti-India activities. Now, this is the official government to government dealing as of now that we know. Now the next step would be, who is this Canadian that the Canadian Foreign Affairs Minister was talking about? We should know about that person, right? So it's very important to understand who Nijjar was. Nijjar, uh, was he some sort of a hero? By the way, I have to share one more video. I mean, the expression says it all. This is the this is the Canadian High Commissioner leaving the Indian office. I can't stop laughing at this. इसको हिंदी में बोलते थे इससे मतलब सांप सूंघ जाना. ये देखो just see this. Oh, I'm gonna play it twice.
Got call the external affairs minister. Sir, you meet the sir.
Look at his face. Look at his face. ओए होए ओए होए ओए कुछ तो कमेंट कर. I'm
Got
gonna play
call
it
the
again.
external affairs minister. Sir, you meet the sir.
He just whacked his door and he just went away. So to all the all the folks in Canada, I love you, but this is your response from India. Look at this guy's face. Look at his face. Do you know how many minutes he spent in and out? A total 4 minutes. This was a dressing down of historical proportions. He went in and he was out in 4 minutes, this man. And his facial expression says it all. As much as I like Canada and Canadians, ये है तुम्हारी लीडरशिप और ये उन्होंने कराया है. 4 मिनट में इंडिया ने उनको भगा दिया. 4 मिनट में. This is what your joker in chief, the Muppet that is your Prime Minister, has gotten you. This is what he is. And what are these people defending? Who is this guy that they're defending? It's very important for us to know who, Nijjar is. Now, this is a very interesting thing, right? Everybody is like, oh, we cannot tolerate such things happening to Nijjar. He's a Canadian. Well, here's who Nijjar is. So one more screen grab for you. Okay? Here you go. This is an Interpol notice of the same lookout notice for Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Obviously, his details were there. This is the guy Canada is backing. This man, this great citizen of Canada, this man had an open lookout notice for him. The Canadians are defending this piece of human debris. ये हाल है इनके. Can you believe it? This is what they want to do. And this was not enough. I have more. Wait. This man is fascinating. The man who was, basically bumped off in some gang war in Canada is a pathetic loser of the highest order. But this was not enough. There has been enough material in the Canadian media itself about how Nijjar became a Canadian. And the most interesting bit is these are all Canadian media sources, right? It's not like we came up with something. It's not like the Indians came up with these stories. So this is the National Post. It is not an Indian media source, right? Listen to what the National Post has to say. What we know about the man India allegedly killed on Canadian soil. This is the National Post staff published yesterday, September 18th, 2023. This is breathtaking stuff, okay? This is breathtaking stuff. Who was Hardeep Singh Nijjar? Let me read this. It is hilarious. Nijjar served as the president of Sikh temple where he was killed. He also worked as a plumber, according to Global News. He came to Canada in 1997, Global reported, and claimed refugee status, having used a false passport to enter the country. This is the man Canada is shouting about. This is the man who has an open Interpol lookout notice, who had an open Interpol lookout notice, whose status was already rejected once. His refugee claim was rejected, but after 11 days, look at the genius, huh? He married a woman who sponsored him for immigration. That too was rejected, although Nijjar called himself a Canadian citizen and Trudeau referred to him as such in the House of Commons on Monday. Nijjar was a prominent organizer in the community of Sikhs in Canada who has been calling for a referendum on Khalistan, which aims to carve out a Sikh ethno-religious state in India's Punjab region. He had been organizing an unofficial referendum among the Sikh diaspora in Surrey. And then obviously the article talks about, what India accuses him. Look at this. An Interpol notice was issued for Nijjar. He was accused of being the leader of the Khalistan terror force, and a report in the Times of India claimed he was running training camps near Mission, BC, to train sympathizers to carry out terror attacks in India. India's Central Bureau of Investigation issued a warrant for Nijjar, citing charges of attempting to cause an explosion, making or keeping explosives with intent to endanger life or property, and making or possessing explosive under suspicious circumstances. This is the hero. This is this is the hero they are talking about. This is their standard. This is the Canadian standard. They're fighting for this piece of human debris. This is all they can do. Really? And don't trust anything we say, right? But there was a time when NDTV was not bought by Adani. That was not long time ago. This is the NDTV article on Nijjar, updated on 19th June. Repeat, updated on 19th June. It was written way before that. So this is the details on Nijjar. He was the chief of the Khalistan Tiger Force, one of India's most wanted terrorists. He had a cash reward of 10 lakhs on his head. This is what Justin Trudeau stood up for in the House of Commons of Canada and spoke about. This is what Justin Trudeau stood up for. This is his standard. So where was he from? Nijjar was a native of village Bharsinghpura in Jalandhar, Punjab. And he had a long tryst with Khalistan militancy since migrating to Canada in 1995. He was initially an operative of Babar Khalsa. He was involved in some of the most high-profile terror cases of the first decade of the millennium, including the Shingar Cinema bomb blast of Ludhiana 2007 and the assassination of the Rashtriya Sikh Sangat President Rulda Singh in Patiala 2009. He was introduced to Pakistan-based fugitive KTF Supremo Jagtar Singh Tara, now incarcerated in India in 2011, and switched to the newly formed KTF. He kept on meeting Tara in Pakistan in the annual Jathas, during which he was allegedly trained in the fabrication of IEDs and handling of high-end guns. Nijjar also funded Tara handsomely from Canada and financed his shifting of base from Pakistan to Thailand in 2014, officials said. When Tara was facing deportation from Thailand into late 2014, Nijjar made frantic efforts to stop it, making multiple rounds of Thailand and Pakistan. The next year, Nijjar trained 3 Sikh youths in handling AK-47 and Russian sniper guns in the hilly terrain of Mission City, British Columbia, before sending them to India for targeting some senior police officials and popular Dera leaders, officially alleged. After hiatus of about half a decade, Nijjar again made headlines with the surfacing of his name in multiple terror cases in quick succession, including the killing of Dera follower Manohar Lal Arora in November 2020 and former Sarpanch of village Udhampur Ropad Avtar Singh December 2021, and attempted killing of Bhar Singh Pura village police Pragya Gyan Muni January 2021. Nijjar was learned to have and formed an alliance with fellow Surrey-based Punjabi gangster Hardeep Singh Gill, alias Arsh Dala, and of late delved into organized financial crimes both in Punjab and in Canada in order to finance his terror plans, they said. This latest venture had reportedly made Nijjar a target of warring criminal gangs operational in Surrey Delta area. Since early 2019, Nijjar was roped in by the US-based Six for Justice leadership to steer its so-called Referendum 2020 campaign in Canada. Since then, Nijjar has remained a constant face of SFJ-sponsored demonstrations and car rallies in the Surrey-Vancouver area. He was often seen desecrating the Indian national flag outside the Indian Consulate of Vancouver on days of national significance to India. Nijjar also played a prominent role in referendum voting in Brampton and Mississauga, Ontario last year. This is the man Justin Trudeau stood up for. This is it. This is the person. I read this in detail because I wanted people to understand who the hell is Justin Trudeau standing up for. And how many of you remember this photo? This is not from Justin Trudeau's current trip where he was embarrassed. This is from Justin Trudeau's previous trip to India where he was doing those hideous Bollywood dances. Remember this guy who was taken with him as part of the coterie? This is Jaspal Atwal. He was a member of the terrorist organization called ISYF and is a convicted terrorist who murdered an Indian cabinet minister in the 1980s. The Canadian High Commission invited him to a diplomatic event a few years ago, and this is his photo with Justin Trudeau. The best part was he has been convicted in Canada as well. But look at the picture. This is Justin Trudeau. This is the Liberal Party of Canada. This is the Canadian political system. This is the reality. And then their leader has the gall to stand up in the House of Commons, a sacred place if you are a person who believes in democracy and human rights, to stand up for murderers and thugs and thieves and goons and accuse India, which has lost people because of Khalistani terrorism. Lost innocent Sikhs, lost innocent Hindus, lost innocent Muslims, lost innocent Christians, lost innocent atheists. Because of these people, these very people that Justin Trudeau takes photos with. This is what he's standing up for. This is what we have come down to in the great nation for politics. And then there is obviously Justin's BFF, Jagmeeta. This is all he could do. This is all Jagmeeta could do. You know, he gives pokey threats to Narendra Modi. And then when somebody tells him this was the best one, right? So this was shared by Ian Miles. Jagmeet Singh, the leader of Canada's third largest party, is hiding replies to a tweet threatening PM Modi. What was the Jagmeet, as I like to call him? By the way, for the record, he said, my name is Jagmeet, like hug, H-U-G, I am Jug. So I just like to call him Jagmeet. Today, we learned of allegations that agents of Indian government murdered Hardeep Singh Nijjar, a Canadian killed on Canadian soil. To all Canadians, this is my vow. I will leave no stone unturned in the pursuit of justice, including holding Narendra Modi accountable. Oye Haggu, तेरी औकात नहीं है. तू इंडिया नहीं आ सकता. हमारा प्राइम मिनिस्टर तेरे देश में आएगा, तुझे थप्पड़ मार के चले जाएगा और तू कुछ नहीं कर पाएगा. ये है तेरी औकात. तू हमारे देश में नहीं आ सकता. You cannot enter दरबार साहिब. You are not allowed. तुझे तेरी औकात पता होनी चाहिए. तेरा नाम हग्गू है, तू हग्गू ही रहेगा. तू बस वही बना के ना अपने ब्रैम्पटन में ऐसे डोले दिखाते रही हो. कौन से जिम में जाता था ब्रैम्पटन के, वो भी मुझे मालूम है. बस वही करते रही हो तू. गोरों को बेवकूफ बना के तू अपनी पॉलिटिकल कर देगा. हमको नहीं बना सकता. गोरों को बेवकूफ बना देगा तू, हमको नहीं बना पाएगा. साला उल्लू का पट्टा है तू. एक नंबर का वाहियात घटिया किस्म का इंसान है. एंड हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू रिमेंबर दिस वाहियात घटिया इंसान Jagmeeta? You remember when he was asked a potent question by honest Canadian journalist about attacks on Hindu temples. Do you remember what that piece of human debris replied then? How many of you remember that? I just want to remind people of that. He completely denied the allegations and pretended as if nothing is happening, as if nobody has to say, as if nothing was going on. And I was like, यार ये आदमी को शर्म भी नहीं आती. मतलब ये, I mean, कैसे लोग हैं ये? And this is where Canadian politics has reduced itself to. And I take you all back to the shit show that was unleashed years ago in the 1980s. That's a fact. Canada has no geopolitical auqat. Canada should think before it does anything. And by the way, as I was getting ready for this As I was getting ready for this, the muscle flexing, dole dikhane wala Justin Trudeau has backtracked in 24 hours. This is his latest statement. Somebody has shared this with me now. Canada is not trying to provoke India by suggesting its agents were linked to the murder of a Sikh separatist leader, but Ottawa wants New Delhi to address the issue properly, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said on Tuesday, reports Reuters. Quote, the government of India needs to take this matter with utmost seriousness. We are doing that. We are not looking to provoke or escalate, he told reporters. फट गई बेचारे की फट गई बेचारे की हगमीते की फट गई अब क्या करें This is your Prime Minister, Canada. He could not take the heat for how many minutes? 24 hours? That's all? That's all he was facing. 24 hours and he couldn't take the heat? This is your Prime Minister, Canada? Is this what you are looking for? Is this the future of Canada? This guy? Is this really what you want for your children? A man who sits with terrorists, sleeps with terrorists? Is this the Canadian standard? I mean, what the hell is this country? What is this country? It's become a butt of jokes for the rest of the world. And then, I usually don't give importance to that joker, Pannu. But this is what Justin Trudeau and his ilk have done to Hindus in their own country. This piece of human shit, Pannu. Again, I apologize, I'm sharing this video. I normally avoid this. So Sameer Kaushalji shared this video. This is the language that is used about Canadian Hindus.
Indo-Canadian Hindus, you have repudiated your allegiance to Canada and Canadian Constitution. Your destination is India. Leave Canada, go to India. Pro-Khalistan Sikhs have always been loyal to Canada. They have always sided with Canada and they have upheld the laws and the Constitution. On October 29th, Shaheed Nijjar Kill India referendum is happening in Vancouver. I urge all Canadian Sikhs to be in Vancouver on October 29th to vote on is Indian High Commissioner Verma responsible for the assassination of Nijjar. You have to come.
Okay, first question. Very bad graphics. What's with Pannu and dung after? I think Pannu is a big fan of Ekta Kapoor. Because you remember how Ekta Kapoor serials would always have dung, dung, dung. I think Pannu is a secret Ekta Kapoor admirer. I think we have to conclude that Pannu loves Ekta Kapoor a lot. But besides the joke that Pannu is, this is the person Justin Trudeau stands up with. This is the person Justin Trudeau aligns with. Pannu is the person Jagmeet. Pannu is the person Jagmeet sides with. Jagmeet Singh's party takes money from people like Pannu, who literally put targets on innocent Canadian Hindus and normal Canadian Sikhs, not Khalistanis. This is the standard. Why doesn't anybody talk about it? Why doesn't anybody ask these questions about Pannu issuing open threats to Canadian Hindus? Why doesn't anybody even ask this question to Justin Trudeau? Why is Justin Trudeau above all of this? What is so unique about Justin Trudeau that he was the darling of the global media? Honestly, he's an embarrassment. He's an embarrassment to Canada. He's an embarrassment to India. He's an embarrassment to everyone on planet Earth. Justin Trudeau is an embarrassment to the human race. That's what he is. He's an embarrassment to the human race. And I'm not done yet. Because I would have avoided all of this. I would have not shared any of this. But hey, what the hell? This guy really asked for it. I usually don't show videos of murders, and I'm going to stick to that. But I'm just sharing a report. I want to share a report. Justin Trudeau stands for this lot. So, Congress leader was shot dead in Moga late evening. The deceased has been identified as Baljinder Singh Ballidala. According to the information as of now, Baljinder Singh was the Congress president of Balli Ajitwal block and the current Nambardar of Dala village. Now guess who took responsibility for the murder of the leader? Guess who did that? Guess who did? Socho. सोचो एक guess मारो live stream. So this is the story as per WION News. Indian politician killed in Punjab. Canada-based terrorist who has ties with Khalistan claims responsibility. Canada-based terrorist who has ties with Khalistan takes responsibility. And here's the news report on WION News. Hours later, a gangster and a designated terrorist, Hardeep Singh Gill, alias Arsh Dalla, who took responsibility for the murder in a Facebook post purportedly from his account. He is currently a permanent resident of Canada. Dalla said he killed Balli to exact revenge for keeping his mother in police custody and getting his friends arrested. The post said this in Punjabi. This is a translation. Quote, I am responsible for the murder of Balli in Dalla village because it was my own village's politics which made me tread this path. This man, Balli, was responsible for keeping my mother in police custody for a week, and he also got my friends arrested. He was hand in glove with police and got my home vandalized. He destroyed my home just to gain his own Afshar Shahi. My life's aim was not to live my own life, but to kill him. If we wished, we would have killed his child too, but that child was nowhere at fault. Those who are sympathizing with him, their homes are not also far for us. And who is this Arsh? He is involved in heinous crimes such as murder, extortion, and targeted killings, and is facing 20 FIRs. He is notorious for generating funds and providing logistical support to gangsters and criminals. He went to Canada in October 22nd, 2018 on a visitor visa. According to reports, he obtained permanent residency in Canada based on his passport. These are the people Justin Trudeau, his government, stands up for. These are the people. These gangsters. And it is such a damn shame. All you have to do is just do a Google search of gangbang in Canada or anything. I don't know how many of you know about this Peel police joint operation recently about carjacking. There was a news report. Peel is a district in Canada, for those who don't know, inside Toronto. It's a district in Canada. And बड़ा नाम कर रहे हैं हमारे लोग जी, इधर बड़ा नाम कर रहे हैं कनाडा में. ये देखो. So ये देखो. ठीक है. This is peelpolice.ca. उनकी वेबसाइट है. ठीक है जी. Project Big resulted. क्या प्रोजेक्ट क्या था? In March, a joint task force was formed to investigate a prolific series of tractor, trailer, and cargo thefts in Peel across the Greater Toronto area. The investigation, dubbed Project Big Rig, resulted in the disruption of the criminal ring and led to the arrest of several individuals responsible for theft of tractor, trailers, and cargo. Such a Punjabi thing to do. Tractor, trailer, और cargo चुरा रहे हैं. मेरे लोग. The investigation also led to awareness for a number of unsuspecting customers who were buying stolen products. Project Big Rig resulted in total of 15 arrests with 73 charges laid, recovery of holy moly, ये कितना है? 69 lakhs 90,000 Canadian dollars worth of stolen cargo, recovery of 22 lakhs 50,000 dollars Canadian in value of stolen tractors, and a total value of 92 lakhs 40,000 Canadian dollars in property recovered. Hanji, this was a joint operation, by the way, provided by the Criminal Intelligence Service Ontario, CISO, in collaboration with Halton Regional Police, Toronto Regional Police, York Regional Police, Ontario Provincial Police, and many other organizations. And guess who were the charged? हाय हाय हाय, दिल खुश हो जाएगा आपका जब मैं नाम रीड करने वाला हूं. अभी अब मैं नाम रीड करूंगा एक एक करके, ठीक है? बलकार सिंह 42 ईयर ओल्ड, अजय 26 year old, Manjeet Padda 40 years old, Jagjeevan Singh 25 years old, Amandeep Baidwan 41 years old, Karamchan Singh 58 years old, Jaswinder Atwal 45 years old, Lakhveer Singh 45 years old, Jagpal Singh 34 years old, Upkaran Sandhu 31 years old, Sukhwinder Singh 44 years old, Kulveer Bais 39 years old, Banishidar Lal Saran 39 years old, Shobit Verma 23 years old, Sukhninder Tillon 34 years old. नाम कमा रहे हैं हमारे लोग कनाडा में, पंजाब के नाम कमा रहे हैं हमारे लोग. कितना नाम कमा लेता. अच्छा, ये काफी नहीं था. ब्रिटिश कोलंबिया ने मोस्ट वांटेड लिस्ट निकाली थी, आई थिंक लास्ट ईयर निकाली थी. मतलब ये मजा आ गया था. ये लिस्ट जब निकाली थी ब्रिटिश कोलंबिया ने पिछली साल, दिल खुश हो गया था मेरा. ठीक है जी. ये जो लिस्ट थी, इसमें भी हमारे लोग, मतलब ऐसे थोड़ा ना होता है कि हमारे लोग ऐसे काम होंगे और हमारे लोग पीछे हटेंगे. हम तो सबसे आगे आएंगे. मतलब कमाल कर दिया हमारे बच्चों ने. उसमें हमने जो नाम कमाया था, उसमें टॉप 10 जो लिस्ट निकाली थी, उसमें भी हमारे लोग आ गए. एंड उसमें 80% पंजाबी. 80%. बोलो, क्या बोलोगे आप? ये हाल है आपके लोगों का. ये हाल है. और मतलब क्या बोले, अभी समझ में नहीं आता. What does one talk about? What does one say? And this is the kind of rubbish Justin Trudeau is standing up for. Are these the people Justin Trudeau wants to ally with? And is this the first time Justin Trudeau was reminded of interference in India by Canadian Khalistanis? No? Is this? Look at what Captain Amrinder Singh said. The claims by Canadian PM Justin Trudeau that there was an Indian hand in the murder of Hardeep Singh Nijjar are completely baseless, and he's only playing to the vote bank gallery. During his visit to Amritsar in 2018, I had brought to notice of Mr. Justin Trudeau as to how the Canadian land was being used against India. Still, the Canadian government failed to take any remedial measures so far. This is Captain Amrinder Singh. Captain Amrinder Singh was the former chief minister under which government? Congress. He's no longer with the Congress, is understandable. But when Captain Amrinder Singh had made this statement, he was with the Congress. Do you remember when Justin Trudeau had come last time? Initially, Amrinder Singh refused to meet Justin Trudeau. How many of you remember this? And then it was such an embarrassing situation for this muppet of Canada, who is embarrassing Canada everywhere, that they had to do something of a major about turn. And then finally, Amrinder Singh agreed to meet this dum-dum. Amrinder Singh did not even want to meet him. ये हाल है इनके, ये है ये गधा, इसके लिए खड़े हो रहे हो। और ये गधा किसके लिए अपनी ठुकवा रहा है? किसके लिए ठुकवा रहा है अपनी? थग्स के लिए जो चोरियां कर रहे हैं। Guess which place is the number one spot when it comes to crime in Canada? Guess which place it is. एक wild guess मारो. Come on, boys. City wise crime rate. सोचो सोचो. Most dangerous city of Canada. सोचो सोचो. कौन सी है? So किसी ने बोला है ब्रैम्पटन. Nope, not ब्रैम्पटन. ब्रैम्पटन नहीं है. मगर ब्रैम्पटन भी है उस लिस्ट में. ओके जी. सो हियर्स द लिस्ट. अब मैं आपको लिस्ट दिखाता हूं. सीरियसली, मतलब इतना दुख होता है ना. ये है आपकी मोस्ट डेंजरस प्लेस, सरी, ब्रिटिश कोलंबिया. अगर कैनेडियंस हैं, आर देयर कैनेडियंस इन द लाइव स्ट्रीम? कौन रहता है सरी में? कौन रहता है? कम ऑन, कैनेडियंस इन द लाइव स्ट्रीम, टेल अदर्स हु स्टेज इन सरी. सबसे ज्यादा कौन रहता है उधर? एवरीबडी नोज. कोई बात नहीं करना चाहता. द बिगेस्ट एलिफेंट इन द रूम. कौन? बताओ. सबको पता है कौन सी कम्युनिटी डोमिनेट करती है उधर. सबको पता है. Everybody knows the damn reality. Everybody does. आप कोई भी क्राइम रैकेट के बारे में कनाडा में पढ़ो, आपको एक ही टाइप के नाम आते जाते हैं. अब मैं क्या करूं अगर ये हैं? मैंने थोड़ी ना बनाया वो. मैंने नहीं किया, ये कनाडा ने किया. It is not me. It is Canada that did this to themselves by letting this fester since the 1980s in Canada. You should read the book by the former intelligence agent of India, Sandhu Saab. I did a podcast with him. Read the book and try and understand how they let it fester. You should read the book by legendary Canadian journalist Terry Milewski. And you should see what Canada let happen in their own soil. And this is not just Trudeau Jr. उसके बाप ने भी यही किया हुआ है. ट्रूडो सीनियर ने भी यही किया हुआ है. तो ये बाप बेटा दोनों ही ऐसे हैं. जब परमार को मंगाया था इंडिया ने, तो उसने बोला था तुमने हिज मैजेस्टी द क्वीन को नहीं एड्रेस किया, इसके लिए हम नहीं भेजेंगे. ये उल्लू के पट्टे हैं ये लोग. And I want to make it very clear, Khalistanis are not Sikhs. Sikhs are Indians to the core. Sikhs are nationalists, patriots. They love India, they love Dharma, they love their mitti, they are good people. Khalistanis are a menace. Khalistanis are now a menace of Canada, and they are becoming a global menace. And everybody and anybody who has any sensible bone left in their body will condemn this. You should condemn this. It's a menace everywhere. साला जो क्राइम पढ़ो, ड्रग बस्ट, खालिस्तानी इन्वॉल्व. ट्रेलर की चोरी, खालिस्तानी इन्वॉल्व. गैंग बैंग, खालिस्तानी इन्वॉल्व. सब में घुसे हुए हैं कनाडा में. ब्रैम्पटन में कार थेफ्ट किस लेवल पे हो रही है, इसके बारे में पढ़ना. कार थेफ्ट ब्रैम्पटन का भी गूगल करना. कार थेफ्ट ब्रैम्पटन, सिर्फ कार थेफ्ट ब्रैम्पटन करना. The numbers of car theft in Brampton are off the roof as of now. Don't trust me. Trust the Brampton Guardian. The Brampton Guardian says areas of Brampton with most auto thefts so far in 2023. According to data provided by Peel Police, there are more than 2,000 auto thefts in Brampton so far this year. Vehicle thefts in Brampton and Mississauga were up 48.3% through the first 6 months of 2023 compared to the same period last year. This is car theft by ward in Brampton. This is the map. कौन है मेजॉरिटी पॉपुलेशन इधर? बात करो इसके बारे में. कौन सबसे ज्यादा मेनेस करता है इधर ब्रैम्पटन में? बात करो इसके बारे में. Everybody should talk about it. In fact, as Indians and as Punjabis, all of us Punjabis should be ashamed of what is happening inside the Punjabi community in Canada. Innocent Hindu Punjabis and innocent Sikh Punjabis are all very thugs. And they have grabbed the NDP and the Liberal Party literally by the balls. They have grabbed the NDP and the Liberal Party literally by the balls. And they don't know what to do. And Indian community has to talk about this. ये map याद रखना car theft का. Guess where the highest insurance rates are there for cars in Canada? कहाँ है? Brampton. नाम कमा रहे हैं हमारे लोग. नाम कमा रहे हैं हमारे लोग. बड़ा नाम कमाया जी. People need to get their shit in order. And this video was shared by the handle on Twitter. And I think this summed up everything for me. And then I'll take your questions and then I'll get the hell out of here because it's really, my throat is already paining. I did not want to do this, but this Muppet Trudeau and his BFF Jagmeet, they made me do this. So this is, I wanted to end on this video. We should cry as Indians that what this country has been reduced to.
Good evening. It's one of the worst air disasters ever, and it's taken more Canadian lives than any other crash in history.
We saw a large rectangular object appeared to be of a pyramid shape floating in orbit over there.
Very quickly realized that there would probably be no survivors.
329 people, 86 of them children, are dead.
The suspects Sikh extremists hoping for an independent homeland in India.
आपनु भरोसा दिवाना है जिन्ना चिर तक 50,000 हिंदू ਅਸੀਂ ਕਤਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਸਾਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਲਵਾਂਗੇ.
For the RCMP, it's becoming one of the largest criminal investigations in the history of the force. Vancouver Island electrician Inderjit Singh Rayat is sentenced to 10 years in prison after being convicted in the Narita blast.
Organized by the Temple Committee, the floats honored a lineup of Sikh martyrs and assassins, including the late Talvinder Parmar.
He was the leader of the organization which did the bombing.
He claimed to be a leader. He said it. But that doesn't mean he's proven it.
Jaspal Otwal, who has been convicted of attempted murder, was invited to an exclusive dinner with Justin Trudeau.
We all know it was planned, it was organized. We all know this.
So you won't denounce those posters of Palma?
I don't know who was responsible, but I think we need to find out who's truly responsible.
This was Air India Flight 182. This was then When you let these things fester, this is what you get in the end. Remember the 11 known gangsters? Public safety warning, Vancouver Sun. Look at the names: Shakil Basra, Amarpreet Samra, Jagdeep Chima, Ravinder Samra, Barinder Dhaliwal, the representative white guy, Andy St. Pierre, Gurpreet Dhaliwal, Richard Joseph Whitlock, Samroop Gill, Samdesh Gill, Sukhdeep Pansal. This is what the community has come down to. You have to understand where we are. I want to close my comments by making one thing very clear. This is not an attack on Canada. I love Canada. I love Canadians. I like everybody. I would always say Canada is one of the nicest places that I have ever been to in my life. But the Canadian political class since 1980s has ruined their political climate, and they need to be held accountable for those crimes. And for them to switch it around and put India on the dock is ridiculous. That's not how it goes. Now I'll take your questions and then I'll get out of here. Somebody has said, Happy Ganesh Chaturthi, stay healthy, safe. Thank you very much, Arjun. सब लोगों को गणेश चतुर्थी की शुभकामनाएं. As a Mumbaikar, I have to say the best time to live in Mumbai is during Ganesh Chaturthi. And probably the greatest memories of my life are my parents taking me out to do Ganpati Darshan till date. I think those were the best memories of my life, where my brother and I, my mother and my father, we would go to different Ganpati pandals and do darshan. I even today, as a very open and vocal Nastik, I still go and do Ganpati darshan, and I absolutely am proud of that culture that Mumbai has, and it is the best time. So thank you very much, and I wish you all the same. If he is willing to burn the relationship between two states for a few votes, what can a hostile intelligence not make him do with right incentives? It is a very, very worrying thing, and exactly what I'm saying. But as you see, he has kind of backtracked his own statement in 24 hours. As you see, I showed it. So, Shanak, you have to look at that too. Any impact on immigration of Indians to Canada? I don't think so. Listen, geopolitics and what happens on the ground has nothing to do with each other. This is not going to change the rate of immigration to Canada. I can assure you that much. Canada, even today, provides a much better quality of life, no matter what Indians like to say, than for a huge swath of Indians, and opportunities for Indians. And those Indians are going to take those opportunities. What needs to change is the Canadian political class, and the Canadian political class's attitude towards Khalistani terrorism. That's what needs to change. How come USA gets to stage coups around the world and also lecture others? Because they are the big daddy of the world. That's why they get to do that. It's very simple. How does the BCCI do such inanities and still get to dominate the world? That's how. You become strong, then dunya nachti hai. Support French Quebec secession as New France. Well, India needs to be sensible. Baki Canada ki batein Canada jane. Will this affect Indian visa students in Canada's OCI? Look, as far as I know, the OCI is okay, I have to make this clear. To everybody who has an OCI, which includes my own wife, by the way, OCI is a privilege, not a right. I repeat, OCI is a privilege you have, not a right. So if you have that privilege given to you by the government of India, by the Indian state, you have to follow basic norms like not wanting to balkanize India. And if you are going to balkanize India, or are you going to engage in activities that are involved in balkanization of India, the Indian state has every right to cancel your OCI and bar you from entering India forever. It does not mean that India cancels every single Canadian OCI, because that is just not possible. Because that would start affecting babus and politicians and their own relatives in Canada. So that's not going to happen. But the Indian government has to be very careful about who gets an OCI. And from the last 3 years, I know it for a fact that the Indian government has been actively cancelling OCIs of Canadians and Americans and Australians who act against India. करो तुमको जो करना है, तुम करो रेफरेंडम के सर्वे, एक एक आइडेंटिफाई होगा, एक एक का ओसीआई कैंसिल होगा, एक एक को रिपरकशंस झेलनी पड़ेगी इसकी, करते जाओ. Pannu says Khalistanis are loyal to Canada when they want to establish a religious ethno-state in India and have the highest number of criminals among them. Well, Pannu is a jackass, said the way. He is literally a jackass. Another Pakistan in making. देखो, एटीट्यूड्स इसमें और पाकिस्तान में बड़े सिमिलर लग रहे हैं, मगर लेट्स बी वेरी क्लियर, कनाडा इज अ वेरी रिच कंट्री और पाकिस्तान है भिखारी. भिखारी और अमीर में इस मामले में कोई कंपैरिजन नहीं है. कनाडा की क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ है यहां और पाकिस्तान की है वो वहां. सो लेट्स गेट रियल. कनाडा और पाकिस्तान में कोई कंपैरिजन नहीं है. कनाडा इज अ 1000 times better country to live in than most places on earth. आज भी अगर आप टॉप 20 सिटीज टू लिव इन द वर्ल्ड देखने जाओगे, मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स टॉप 10 में कैनेडियन सिटीज ही आने वाली है. तो यार काम डाउन, ऐदा नहीं बोली था. बस ब्रैम्पटन और सरी में नहीं रहना, वो टट्टी जगह हैं. लेट मी नो वेयर टू सेंड पैसा फॉर जगमीत जस्टिंदर टू रन रिपब्लिक ऑफ खालिस्तान इन कनाडा. एक काम करो, मुझे दे दो. उसको क्यों दे रहे हो पैसे? Will you create a WhatsApp channel? No. Why would I create a WhatsApp channel? मैंने WhatsApp चैनल लेके क्या करना है भैया? मेरे को नहीं WhatsApp चैनल बनाना, मैं दुखी हो जाऊंगा. मुझे WhatsApp चैनल नहीं चाहिए. So, और क्या है? Retired guy has become a member. Well, retired guy, thank you very much for joining the Charvak podcast. Why isn't Olivier better advised on such issues? Why is the rest of the moderate Punjabi and other communities belonging to the diaspora making their weight felt? Arey, yaar, this is unfair. Do you know there are active projects right now like the Sikh Hindu unity? Do you know that? Active programs hai Canada mein. Sikh Hindu unity run by Sikhs and Hindus together. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि लोग नहीं कर रहे हैं. Most people are normal. Boss, try and understand. X number of Canadians of Indian origin है, उसमें X percentage सिखों की है, उसमें एक 10 to 20% ये पागल खालिस्तानी है सिखों में. बाकी सब नॉर्मल लोग हैं जो अपनी नॉर्मल लाइफ जीते हैं. And there are attempts from the community too. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. And there are polls that show this. मैं कोई अपनी imaginary हवाई नहीं. And for the record, there are more Hindus in Canada than there are Sikhs in Canada. Little did you guys know about that. तो क्या करेगा कनाडा? कनाडा सिखों से जो much more in number है, उनको बोल देगा जाओ छोड़ दो कनाडा. ऐसा कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. So calm the hell down. As far as the Canadian conservative question is concerned, listen, the Canadian conservatives can be criticized for many things. But when it comes to this particular subject, think like a politician. What is the plank of a standard conservative? What is the plank of a standard conservative? The plank of a standard conservative is Canada first, etc., etc., etc. So when Justin Trudeau, in a political sense, think like a politician. When Justin Trudeau talks about foreign interference in Canada, you expect the Canadian conservatives to say, we support foreign interference in Canada? No. Naturally, Pierre Olivier will say, no, we condemn it. If it is true, please show us the proof. But the problem with Canada is, Canada has a history of telling foreign interference and all this rubbish. 2 years ago, there was a famous story of Justin Trudeau, our performative idiot in chief, talking about mass graves in Canada. और 2 साल बाद पता चला एक भी ग्रेव नहीं मिला. वो जाके वेटिकन को बोलता है, सॉरी बोल, तुम लोग ने ये किया. And talking about conspiracy theories, Terry Galvin, who is a journalist and author, Ottawa Citizen and National Post columnist, I want to read something Terry Galvin shared. तो ये पढ़ो. The last time an Indian spies did it, conspiracy theory was making the rounds was 3 years ago. Indian spies were being blamed for Air India bombing. Yes. At that time, this is what I wrote. This is what Terry Galvin wrote. This is a fabulous conspiracy theory concoction of the most sinister kind. I happen to know this because I happen to know who planned and executed the plot that succeeded in blowing the Kanishka out of the sky off the coast of Ireland that day. I was covering this stuff while Jatinder Singh Grewal was still in diapers. I first interviewed Babbar Khalsa's Talwinder Singh Parmar when I was a kid reporter on Canada's west coast, years before he became to prominence as a terrorist fugitive using Canada as a safe haven owing to Canada's lack of an extradition treaty with India. By the way, Canada does have an extradition treaty with India right now, but they still don't do anything. The jackasses that the Canadian political classes is full with. In a series for the Globe and Mail, I spent time inside the Golden Temple complex in Amritsar before the Khalistani fanatics were bombed out of there in Operation Blue Star. I interviewed the Khalistani's Osama bin Laden figure, General Singh Bhindranwale, at length. I covered a speech he delivered to his generals, urging them to fly through the air with their swords in the slaughter of Hindus. I interrogated all the rest of those Taliban-like reprobates as well. In his 4-story fortress with sandbag gun batteries on the roof and at each corner balcony on every floor, Parmar's senior Babbar Khalsa General Commander Sukhdev Singh boasted about Babbar Khalsa's atrocities and assassinations. When we go to kill, we leave our pamphlets, he said, bragging that he'd overseen at least 40 assassinations on Parmar's orders, but that strictly speaking, he wasn't certain because he'd lost count. Commander Sukhdev Singh was no imaginary ghost of Sikh terrorism. Neither was Bhindranwale on Parmar. The Sikh people in Punjab and abroad, in their overwhelming majority, passionately devout and casually observant, have been made to carry the burden of this toxic Khalistani propaganda for far too long. It should stop. तो ये है reality. Now back to the Canadian conservative issue. Well, you remember the Baps temple attack? You remember it? Well, you remember all the temple attacks that have been happening on Hindu temples for the last few days? You remember all of that? Tell me once, show me one tweet by Justin Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh condemning those attacks on temples. I told you, when asked, Jagmeet Singh flipped it around in an interview and talked about India's human rights violations. That's a pathetic third-rated human being that Jagmeet Singh is. But Tim Uppal, who was a Conservative Party leader, I am no fan of Tim Uppal for the record. I am no fan of Tim Uppal, but he did tweet about it. So the Conservative Party per capita is better not only on the Khalistan issue, but overall for Canada. If you are a Canadian, and you look at the inflation, you look at the real estate crisis in Canada, and you look at every single problem that a Canadian is facing, are you insane that you want NDP and Liberal Party in power? Why don't you just go with the Conservatives? Forget what they do with India. Are you insane to vote for this man and his stupid political policies? Okay, next question. Why is Canada even doing this? They have bad relations with China. They need us even more. Why would anyone vouch for supporters of a Taliban-style theocracy? This is the million-dollar question. And believe me, nobody knows why they do it. It is, at best, a mystery. You know, it's interesting that he's a member of parliament from the Conservative Party right now, but I don't know how many of you remember last year, Shubhaloy Majumdar had come on the Charvak podcast, and Shubhaloy was making the case of how Canada's Indo-Pacific strategy has to have a deeper relationship with India to counter a lot of shared threats. I don't know how many of you remember this podcast I did. At that time, Shubhaloy was not a member of parliament. Shubhaloy was with the Macdonald-Laurier Institute, and today he's a member of parliament. Nothing but good wishes to Shubhaloy. All support and power to Shubhaloy. Go Shubhaloy. And he had written this piece. Canada and India must forge deeper partnerships to counter shared threats. He had written this piece, and I would urge all of you to go and read this article and go and rewatch my podcast with Shubhaloy Majumdar about what the need of the hour is. and we should do something about it. But यार अभी क्या करें? अभी मतलब you have an idiot running. I mean, running Canada right now. What do you want me to do? मैं क्या करूं? मैं कुछ कर थोड़ी ना सकता हूं इस गधे को. I mean, he is an absolute muppet. What do you want me to do with Trudeau? And by the way, once the disaster had happened with this man, the joker that he is, and guess what Shuvaloy Majumdar had predicted just a few days ago. Just a few days ago, Shuvaloy Majumdar had tweeted this exact thing, that now that Justin Trudeau has been insulted, let's see what Canada's joker in chief will. Obviously he did not use the words joker in chief, but the point is that this is exactly what was discussed when the entire G20 fiasco had happened. And they don't learn. What do you want me to do? They don't learn. They will never learn. And this is the exact tweet of Shuvaloy Majumdar on this issue. And I want you guys to. The countdown begins now on how long it takes for the Trudeau government, liberal insiders, and the woke establishment to vilify the world's largest democracy. Guess who was proven right? The Conservative member of Parliament, Shuvaloy Majumdar, was proven right. This is exactly what Trudeau did, what Shuvaloy Majumdar predicted. Trudeau came back to Canada. He was like, I had a disastrous tour of India. Once again, the Indians, rubbed my nose in the sand, metaphorically speaking. How do I deal with this? And guess what he did? Ra ki sajish, the old Pakistani playbook. Okay, somebody has said Khalistani speak about India, especially Brahmins, as if they are Nazis opining Jews, delusional accusations, mindset frozen in 1980s to undo brainwashing. How? Well, they need to be educated about what facts are. There is no such thing as I don't believe people can't be rehabilitated. I believe they can be. There's no such thing as lack of rehabilitation. Khalistanis, and especially young Sikh children in Canada, America, Australia, are victims of Khalistani brainwashing. I'm not going to take the name. Nothing hurt me more. And this is a real story that I'm stating. I was with a Sikh gentleman in Canada last month. We were having a casual chat at a very good friend's office, his own office. And I mean, I know someone, he's partners with this person. And he said, I don't send my children to the Gurdwara anymore. That's a big thing for a Sikh to say. And I was like, why? He's like, they are brainwashing my children there. The Gurdwara now sounds like a madrasa. I can't send my children there. When an average Sikh starts saying that, you should feel sad. Mark my words, this will happen more and more. Sikhs will start taking their children away from them. It's sad. What do you do? Okay. What do you think is a better pest to handle, Islamist or Khalistani? Who is more brain dead? Listen, I have said this before. I have not met a more brain dead lot than Khalistanis. I say this with full responsibility. I say this with all seriousness. I mean, seriously. There are no more dummies. I mean, Khalistanis are the biggest dummies. By the way, the recent development, as I'm doing this, I am answering the Canadian opposition question. So Pierre Poilievre, Canada's opposition leader on Trudeau, Nijjar India killing allegation, quote, this is tweeted by Siddhant Sibal. Siddhant regularly, he's a diplomatic and defense correspondent for Vion News. In case you guys are wondering, मैं किसको quote कर रहा हूँ, भाई journalist है. PM needs to come clean with all the facts. We need to know all the evidence possible for Canadians can make judgments. The PM has not provided any facts. reporters then asked, what is the risk if he doesn't provide more information or these allegations are found somehow to be untrue? Pierre Olivier said, real. There you go. This is the Canadian conservative response. To all those people who keep saying the Canadian conservatives are just like the liberals and the NDP, no, 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 they're not. Most Sikhs in Canada are not Khalistanis, especially ones who migrated through express entry and are educated. The ones who come through asylum are Khalistanis. Well, sit away. I don't have a survey to make a definitive yes or no answer. Don't know. Do the whites, as in Goras in Canada, understand what's going on? Slowly they are, Pikachu man. Slowly they are. Believe me when I say this. Slowly they are. Khalistanis are no different from neo-Nazis, ISIS, Taliban supporters. They masquerade as human rights activists because they only attack Hindus, India, and not whites. So Western countries take it light. The sad reality, and Sid Dave, this is something Terry Milevsky wrote in his book, that if the Kanishka bombing had led to the loss of lives of white Canadians, it would have been a very different scenario. Instead of brown Canadians dying. It's a sad reality. And as I say this, it saddens me even more. But yes. But now things are changing. Why? Because now the shit show that they let simmer in Canada has become organized crime rackets. Because that is what always happens. This is the story. All these jackasses eventually become hardened criminals. And this is the eventual end of all these jackasses. And now when car thefts happen, organized crime rackets happen, and then the average Gora Canadian will go and start searching crimes in Canada. And every time only a Punjabi name, 99% of the times or 90% of the times, only a Punjabi name keeps popping up. Then they'll be like, what are we doing? Are we going to address this issue? Which is why I say this as an Indo-Canadian Punjabi, Indian citizen who lives in Canada 3 months every year. पंजाबियों जाग जाओ, हमारा नाम खराब हो रहा है कनाडा में. अभी बात अंडर द टेबल हो रही है, डाइनिंग टेबल में हो रही है, घर के अंदर हो रही है, मगर हो रही है. मुझे मालूम है मेरे गोरे दोस्त फुसफुस कर रहे हैं. बाद में ये ओपनली करेंगे. इसके पहले कि वो ओपनली करें, अपनी कौम के अंदर सुधार लाओ. हिंदुओं और सिखों, बात करो इसके बारे में. हमारी कौम में क्राइम की प्रॉब्लम है कनाडा में. बात करो इसके बारे में. नहीं तो कोई फार राइट रेसिस्ट करेगा और तब हमको अच्छा नहीं लगेगा. खालिस्तान becomes India. मुझे समझ में, when they want to run Indian grocery, Indian restaurants in Canada, USA and make money, but they become Khalistanis when dealing with other Indians. देखो, मेरा रूल बड़ा सिंपल है. अगर मैं कनाडा में, if I go to any shop in Canada, I have a very simple smell test. If I see any Khalistani sign in that shop, in that restaurant, if I see an open photo of Janelle Singh Pindrawale, if I see a photo of Parmar, if I see a photo of these gangsters, because अभी क्या शक्लें याद हो गई हैं, I walk in, I walk out. I will not give these people business. They don't deserve my hard-earned money. Anywhere. Global policy होनी चाहिए. They have every right to put the photo of Janelle Singh Pindrawale. I have every right to not give them any business. Because Janelle Singh Pindrawale killed innocent Sikhs and Hindus. They are my people. I will not support anybody who kills my people. That's the rule. And I have seen shops, even in California, where Janelle Singh Pindrawale's photo was there openly. और नीचे उन नानक की रसमलाई बेच रहा था. मैंने नहीं खरीदी. मैं बाहर आ गया. मैं नहीं खरीदूंगा. मैं नहीं दूंगा इनको बिजनेस. मैं नहीं दूंगा इन थर्ड क्लास लोगों को बिजनेस. ऐसे लोग नहीं डिजर्व करते मेरा पैसा. Apart from expelling a top Canadian diplomat, what else our government might do to teach Khalistani sympathizer Trudeau? Also, what Indian citizens should do? First of all, Canada और इंडिया का ट्रेड इतना है नहीं, डॉक्टर के चक्रवर्ती. Like if you look at trade, India's top 10 trading partners, I don't think so Canada even figures in the top 10 list. So top 10 ट्रेडिंग पार्टनर्स हमारे कनाडा है नहीं, तो हम करेंगे क्या उनके साथ? सो यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड कनाडा आता कहाँ है, हमारे में नंबर क्या है? ओहो, टॉप 30 में भी नहीं है कनाडा। ओहो, नंबर 1 यूएस है, फिर चाइना है, यूएई है, सऊदी है, रशिया है, इंडोनेशिया है, इराक, सिंगापुर, हांगकांग, साउथ कोरिया। Canada is not even there in top 25. So what are you going to do? So we're basically, this is why Canada does what it does and India does what it does, because that's all they can do, because we barely trade with each other. What do Indian citizens do? Indian citizens should, in a nice way, whenever they go for vacations, because Canada is a beautiful country, I can tell you that. Niagara Falls, beautiful. I was just there in Niagara Falls. So you can ask average Canadian, why do you let terrorists fester in your own background? Maybe nicely, but beyond that, what can you do? You can expel the diplomats. And look at the response from the Trudeau government. In 24 hours, they are backing down because they know they have nothing. They have zero leverage over India. He cannot flex any muscle. Gone are the days where you can bully India. Bhul jao. For everybody who thinks you can bully India, bhul ja. You cannot bully India. India is not going to be bullied anymore. India will bully you if you try to bully us. What Canada should aspire to do is, Canada should aspire to trade more with India. We should have been signing the trade deal, which India cancelled because of this muppet who is in charge of Canada, because he refuses to deal with the Khalistani menace. Let the Canadians suffer. The Canadian economy is suffering right now. It's in a stagnant mode, as per my friend Karan Bhasin, who gave me the numbers. Shout out to Karan Bhasin. Karan told me that the Canadian economy has been pretty much stagnant for the last decade under Trudeau. They need the Indian trade deal. And guess what? Look at the response from the other Five Eyes intelligence service agencies. Other than the mere formalities, nobody gave a shit about what Trudeau said. तो ये तो कनाडा की औकात है उसके अपने गोरों के बीच में, तो हमको क्या वो करेगा यार? कुछ लेवरेज ही नहीं है ये पोपट की। खालिस्तान कान के बीच, खालिस्तान मुझे कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है ये किसने। फाइनेंशियल सेल्फ डिफेंस इज नेसेसरी ग्लोबली, वेल आई डोंट नो व्हाट दैट मींस। आर पंजाबीज इन इंडिया हिंदू और सिख मेजॉरिटी, और इज इट 50-50? आई ऑलवेज थॉट देयर वर मोर हिंदू पंजाबीज देन सिख्स, बट दे लिव आउटसाइड पंजाब. Well, inside the state of Punjab, Hindus are a minority. Hindu Punjabis are a minority in absolute numbers. But I would have to look at the latest numbers overall. But in Punjab, 60-65% of Punjab is Sikh, from what I remember last. I mean, अभी 2011 सेंसस के ऊपर रिलाई करना पड़ रहा है, क्योंकि अभी उसके बाद कोई सेंसस फिगर आया नहीं है. सो आई एम वेरी सॉरी कि आई कांट गिव यू एनी अदर नंबर, बट 2011 सेंसस के हिसाब से तो यही था. Okay, somebody has said, this is from Canada, the silent majority worries me more. When Nagar Kirtans are filled with Khalistani flags rather than Khalsa Panth flags, I prefer home than Gurdwara. I'm assuming you're a Sikh. I'm assuming you're Punjabi, because only a Punjabi would say something like this. But boss, मैं हाथ जोड़ के विनती कर रहा हूं, घर पे मत बैठो. ये आवाज उठाओ इन लोगों के खिलाफ. इन लोगों ने इन्होंने हमारे गुरुद्वारे कैप्चर कर लिए सालों ने. इन्होंने हमारी डिस्कोर्स कैप्चर कर लिए. ये है कौन? ये है कौन? हम इनको क्यों स्पेस दे रहे हैं? Why are we giving them all the space? सिखी इनकी नहीं है, हमारी है. गुरु हमारे हैं, इनके नहीं है. हिंदू और सिखों के गुरु हैं, खालिस्तानियों के गुरु नहीं है वो. हिंदू और सिखों के गुरु हैं. हर भारतीय का गुरु है, खालिस्तानियों का नहीं है. हर भारतवासी के गुरु हैं वो.
ऐसे लोगों को दे देंगे हम लोग हमारा धर्म, हमारा पंथ? वो तो चाहते हैं ये हो, हमें नहीं गिव अप करना चाहिए. I understand your sentiment and I hear you. But this is not the answer. इनको वापस जवाब देना ही पड़ता है और दे रहे हैं ना. अभी रीसेंट टोरंटो में इंडियन काउंसिलेट के बाद ये आ गए थे लल्लू सारे के सारे, इंडिया का फ्लैग ऐसे चप्पल मार रहे थे. इंडियंस outnumbered the Khalistanis 4:1. ऐसे मेरे दिल को खुशी मिली वो देख के. We have to speak up, and that's when the Canadian political class will realize that enough is enough. The people of Indian origin living in Canada are proud Canadians, and they don't hate India, and they don't believe India is a fascist state. That's what they need to know. How much do you think US and China is involved in this? I don't know. I will not speculate. I will not give these answers. ये सब gossip ही होती है चीजें. They're attacking Majumdar, Vivek, Sunak. They won't stop with merely attacking India. The whole diaspora is targeted by them. Head in sand doesn't work. Well, let them attack. Good. Let them attack Shuvaloy Majumdar. That means Shuvaloy Majumdar will become even more famous in the Indian diaspora community, and he will be a true representative of the Indian diaspora, because बिचारे हमारे चंद्रा आर्या जी अकेले लड़ रहे थे इतने दिन से. अब चंद्रा आर्या लिबरल पार्टी एमपी, शुभलॉय मजुमदार कैनेडियन कंजर्वेटिव पार्टी एमपी, दोनों हिंदू रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स ऑफ कनाडा, दोनों साथ में आएंगे और लड़ेंगे इनको. आपको लगता है आर्या जी नहीं सपोर्ट करेंगे शुभलॉय का? वो बिल्कुल करेंगे. When it comes to these issues, Chandra Arya has spoken about Khalistan on the floor of the house too. He has also spoken. We need Shuvaloy, we need Arya, we need every decent human being. और कहाँ है अनीता आनंद? अनीता आनंद को बोलो क्यों नहीं बात कर रही है? ओ मेरे कनाडा वालों, जाके जरा अनीता आनंद को क्वेश्चन पूछो ना, उसका क्या व्यू है इसके ऊपर. तुम्हारी फॉर्मर डिफेंस मिनिस्टर, करंटली कोई और मिनिस्ट्री है उसके पास, जाके अभी पूछो ना अनीता को अब क्या किया उसके व्यूज हैं. अब कोई मेरे को प्राइवेटली मैसेज नहीं करना व्हाट्सएप में कनाडा से, यार अनीता आनंद का नाम क्यों ले रहा है. लूंगा. उसको पूछो जाके क्या किया उसने हिंदू कम्युनिटी के लिए और इंडियन कम्युनिटी के लिए. क्या किया अनीता आनंद ने? ये क्वेश्चन पूछने पड़ेंगे. ओके चलो, सारे क्वेश्चंस हो गए जी. I think I've answered all your questions, and my gala now has really, like my gala, as you can see, my voice has now started to crack. So, but I was so pissed off about what Justin Trudeau did, I couldn't stop coming here and talking about it. Once again, I really apologize to all of you about my voice. I have a cough and cold. I was having a slight fever yesterday, and but like I just got so angry last night when I saw this jackass talking absolute rubbish. I had to. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, once again I apologize. There is one more question. Please, this is the last question, guys. I am out of here now. West can use this in future just like they used Pakistan against India. It's opposite of what gurus wanted. They lived here and gave their life and family's life. It's Harmandir Sahib. Yes, it is Harmandir Sahib. It will be Harmandir Sahib. It will always remain that. Sikhs are an integral part of India. Sikhs are our people. They are as angry. Go and see what my dear friend Sherbir Panag said. Is Sherbir a Modi Bhakt? No, right? Sherbir is no Bhakt. But I want you guys to go and read what Sherbir Panag said. And I reached out to him and I told him privately, ki bhai, I am so proud of you. And I say this openly on this platform. I am so proud of my friend and my brother Sherbir Panag, because whenever it comes to Desh and Bharat ka hit, Sherbir ek ho jate hain. हम लोग सब एक हो जाते हैं. When it comes to Hindu Sikh unity, शेरबीर और मैं एक हो जाते हैं क्योंकि वी आर वन. You know, I was so proud of Sherbir. I actually reached out to Sherbir कि तू आजा podcast पे आज. He was like, he's busy, he can't make it, he would have come. But, you know, this is what Sherbir said. Canada's duplicitous domestic and foreign policy conflates terrorism and liberalism when convenient. On matters of violence and terrorism, there should be no ifs and buts. There are also more respectful ways of dealing with allies in moments of dispute. But this is what you get with a confused polity based on amorphous values. This is Sherbir Panag, and this is your average Indian Sikh. This is your average Indian Sikh. Not those shitheads like Pannu. Sala third class insan. Khota. उसको बनाने दो कनाडा में खालिस्तान. जो करना है. Anyways, guys, I'm really sorry, but I just can't speak anymore. मेरा गला literally अभी दर्द हो रहा है. But to all of you, I apologize if I sounded angry today. I was really angry today. I couldn't control myself. I just had to speak. And I was like, अगर कोई podcast पे आके कोई और नहीं बोलेगा तो मैं ही बोल देता हूं. तो मैंने बोल दिया. Don't dislike Canada. Don't dislike Canadians because of what Jagmeet Singh or Justin Trudeau do or say. Canada is a wonderful country with wonderful people. They are the nicest people you'll meet. तुमको फर्क देखना है ना, गाड़ी में विंजर डिट्रॉइट बॉर्डर पार करो. विंजर कनाडा की शहर है और डिट्रॉइट अमेरिका की शहर है. कनाडा से अमेरिका जाओगे लगेगा हाय मैं किधर आ गया, और अमेरिका से कनाडा जाओगे हाय मैं जन्नत आ गया. ये सच है. बेचारे बहुत शरीफ लोग हैं. ये पॉलिटिशियन टुच्चे हैं और ये खालिस्तानी टुच्चे हैं जिन्होंने इनको फंसा के रखा है. कनाडा में ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. शांति प्रिय देश है. खालिस्तान को खिलाफ जाओ, खालिस्तानियों के खिलाफ जाओ. एंड इफ पॉसिबल इस पॉडकास्ट को सपोर्ट करो. If you can, please become a member of the Charvak podcast. This podcast runs on its members. I am able to say and do whatever I want to do is because there are some good people who have faith in me, who have joined the membership program. If you join that membership program, it gives me the absolute intellectual freedom to bash anyone and anything on planet Earth. So please join the membership program, whether on Fanmo or on YouTube or on Patreon. Or you can send your donations to UPI or buy the merchandise on kushalmehra.com. I will see you all next time. Take care. Bye-bye.